All right, welcome to the Capital Investment Committee meeting. This is for March 28th, 2019. Call to order, and do I have a consideration of minutes for January 24th and February 28th as well?
Move for approval of both.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, number two, consideration of draft on-call engineering and surveying contracts for Alfred Benish Company, contract 219-0083 for civil and environmental consultants for Stantec Consulting Services, Inc., and Civil Infrastructure Associates.
These are just simply on-call contracts that we utilize if a property in the city of Franklin needed a boundary survey. We could have access to them to go out there and do it. The funding for these type of projects are generally through the annual budget process, or if development's coming through and we need assistance with a drainage study of some nature, this is the on-call consultants that we would use. And we currently have on-call, and those are about to expire, so this is just renewing that, and we did go through a qualifications-based selection process to pick these firms.
Are there any questions about this?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, I have a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0 passes. Number two, consideration of draft on-call, three. Consideration of local agency project agreement with the Tennessee Department of Transportation for State Route 96 Murfreesboro Road traffic signal improvements.
This agreement allows us to manage the recently awarded CMAQ funds for the Murfreesboro Road Signal Upgrades Improvements Project. So we got $1.55 million in federal funds to upgrade signal timing, look at some additional operational improvements like flashing yellow arrows, some connected vehicle technologies along the Murfreesboro Road corridor between Eddy Lane and Arno Road. So this allows us to manage that.
And it goes from Eddy Lane to Arnold Road.
Correct.
And when will this be conducted?
Over the next about 2 to 3 years.
Move for approval.
Have a second?
Second.
All right. When does this commence?
As soon as the board approves this agenda, we'll get the contract going with TDOT, and then we can actually start design. So we're still at the very preliminary stages.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Passes 4-0. Number 4, consideration of draft professional services agreement with Alfred Benish Company for the design of the Southeast Park Bridge and Carruthers Parkway intersection improvements in a lump sum of $358,656. What was that?
So this is
I'm buzzing in.
Oh, you are, all right.
Yeah,
Dana,
yeah, move approval.
do you have a second? All right. Is there a discussion?
Do you want to talk about it?
I can. This is associated with the Southeast Park. These are the intersection improvements and the bridge design associated with serving that park.
Any further discussion?
Where is the bridge?
So in your parks, in the park master plan for the Southeast Park that's to be named, the bridge is what is the main access for that property.
Okay, thank you.
And it's off of Carruthers Parkway.
All right. We've got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 5. All right, consideration of draft professional services agreement with CDM Smith and Robinson Lake Dam Rehabilitation Project in amount not to exceed $602,300. What do we got here?
This is, just as it says for the Robbins Lake Dam, it's the first step of making that park really usable, is to bring the dam into compliance with the Safe Dams Act. CDM Smith helped us out with the initial studies. They have a lot of experience in this type of work, and so they're going to help us with navigating that. It involves hydraulic modeling, looking at the classification of the dam, and then developing construction plans to bring it into compliance with the Safe Dams Act. This is Robinson Lake. It's got about a 20-foot dam on it over by Carruthers Parkway, and so really before we start finalizing the use of that park, we got to get this dam figured out and stabilized and into compliance.
Do you have a motion? First, do you have a motion?
Yeah, move for approval.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All right.
Then I wanna
Discussion.
ask-
Margaret?
yeah. All right,
Alderman Martin?
when you talk about figuring out what we're going to do to get it ready, we haven't done anything yet as far as the problems that this presented when we bought the lake. I mean, when we bought the lake.
No, this was one of the items that was discovered when we bought the lake and was something we knew we were gonna have to deal with. And in part of the feasibility study they did prior to acquiring the property, we had estimated that it would cost around 2.5 million just to rehab that dam. And so that was all factored into the acquisition price that we ended up paying for that property. Does that
Okay.
answer your question?
Well, yeah, but we haven't started. We haven't done
We've
anything
done
yet.
no work yet. No,
Okay,
ma'am.
that was my
No,
question.
No work yet.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 6, consideration of draft resolution 2019-27, resolution to award the construction contract for the East McEwen Drive Roundabout Improvement Projects to Sessions Paving Company in the amount of $1,324,963.45, and to establish a project contingency in the amount, amount of $150,000.
This construction contract is for the construction of the right turn bypass lanes and the modifications to the entries of the roundabout at McEwen Drive and Cool Springs Boulevard. Project is expected to last about 8 months and should start middle of April is what we're shooting for. So hopefully to try to get that done by the end of the year.
Do you have a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
Question on that. Does that also include whatever we're doing to the roundabout, slow traffic down?
Yes, it is the geometric, the geometric entry alignments. It's geometric changes on the entry alignments.
Entry alignments.
It does include those. So it includes,
Entry alignment?
it includes the entry modifications, lighting, some grading changes in the roundabout island to help with sight distance, the right turn bypass lanes, repaving obviously and restriping to accommodate the changes.
Aye.
Request for sanitary sewer availability, approval for 1261 Lewisburg Pike.
This is a property that's going to be served by the Hunpeck Lane Sewer. So there, we tried to catch this before the approval went through, but we didn't get it. We didn't catch it in time. So we'll probably have to renew this once the year is over. Yes. Yeah, the sewer from. Yep. It's just standard for them to connect onto the sewer when it's
Move for
constructed.
approval.
Second.
I'm just going to leave my mic on, okay? All in favor?
Aye.
Number 8, consideration of a request for sanitary sewer availability for 1357 Ascot Lane.
So this is this property is in the Red Wing neighborhood. We do have sewer infrastructure near there, but not close enough to connect that house. So she's requesting denial. We're recommending denial.
Move to deny.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 4-0. All right, number 9, capital project status report.
Somebody go ahead and tell Miss Martin about the bridge.
Which bridge?
West Main.
Oh, West Main.
Jonathan.
Well, we have a lot of bridges going on.
The bridge.
The bridge,
Yeah.
the bridge is in your capital improvements program for a vote, so
Okay.
that's where that one's still at.
How is the vote coming?
You voted on them at a previous work session, and there were some requests to revote, so we're kind of in a,
We're right now working internally at Eric's direction to put together various options, obviously looking very critically at the board's top priority of those top 10. But there are other projects that just seem to make sense due to other commitments that we have, whether it be through grants or whether Water and Sewer has a project, and it makes sense to do a bigger roadway project with that. And so we're meeting internally, and as soon as we get that done, my understanding is Eric will then be ready to bring it forward to the board.
How soon will that be?
This was discussed at the last board meeting, and Eric said he didn't have an exact date. I think it just depends on how quickly we can work through this at a staff level. I'll tell you that we are, at his direction, we are actively working on it as quick as possible.
On the capital project status report, we have Matt Country Parkway. Is there any updates on that you want to speak to?
If you haven't had a chance to drive by there, it's, they actually have the temporary bridge across the river now, so they can work on both sides, across from Hillsborough Road and McHatcher. So that the temporary's there. They've also started doing the drilled foundations for the bridge itself, so they're working pretty hot and heavy out there.
All right, so that was Matt Ketcher, Parkway North, West Extension. How about 96 West Multi-Use Trail, or West Haven Boulevard traffic signal, any questions there?
I will tell you on the West Haven signal, we are expecting that design to be done in the next 2 months. We've recently, our consultant has been trying to schedule a meeting with us to go over those plans. But once in the next 2 months, the bid package should be ready. We should be able to get this thing out to bid, and we fully intend to bid it this summer to try to get those improvements done.
May I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
When you say they've been trying to meet with you, what is the problem that you can't meet?
There was a medical emergency that occurred in which he had a scheduled meeting to do it, and there was a medical emergency.
Okay.
So we rescheduled the meeting.
Okay.
And so we're going to have that project bid out ready for bid in the next 2 months, bid out in the next 3. It should not be
And
a
there's a
problem.
big caveat on that, though. The lead time for getting signal poles, there's very few manufacturers, and they're very backed up. The lead time is 6 to 8 months on getting signal poles. So once we do bid it, there will be a lead time where nothing is seemingly getting done because we're manufacturing the signal poles.
Seemingly getting nothing done has been going on for about 4 years.
Yeah, we've been working on it for probably less than a
know.
few months.
I
and
know.
We're moving on it. We know it's a priority, and we know the residents are expecting it. So right now, it's in our court, and in 2 months, we'll be ready.
Okay.
Do you have any questions on the Franklin Road corridor? Alderman Martin?
I don't have any questions. I'm assuming that is going on regularly.
Yeah, our right-of-way acquisition agent is making a lot of progress with acquiring those easements. And so, again, this summer, we're trying to be done with the right-of-way acquisition. Our project manager's finalizing those utility plans, and we're also coordinating with TDOT on the bridge improvements. And so we're shooting to bid that project as soon as we can. Hopefully, late summer is really about where that's at
But the
now.
bridge is not going to defer
No, it
the
will
not.
movement of the
Absolutely not.
road. Okay.
All right, we did the roundabout McEwen. How about McEwen Phase 4? Where are we with the utilities? And also, what's next? After utilities, could we ever go out to bid? Could we ever go out to right-of-way?
Yeah, so the utilities are essentially done, and we're updating the roadway to match those utilities now. And that should be being submitted to us here within the next, I'd say, 20 days. And once we get those plans, we're turning around, we submit to TDOT. And as soon as we have their blessing on those plans, we are going to go out to start the right-of-way. We've already completed the RFQ for the right-of-way acquisition process. We just have to select a consultant. We purposely have not selected a consultant because when we get closer to it, we're going to look at, there's only 3 or 4 of them. They're all very qualified. We're going to look at who has the availability. We'll start with the most qualified, but then see who's available to be able to start right away with appraisal services.
To select a consultant for the right-of-way?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, one quick question. Do you have any idea length of time? Are we going to just submit this utility information to them and we just wait, or do we?
Well, the utilities, TDOT won't review the utilities. They'll review the whole plan set, but they're just going to do a cursory review, but I still expect that to probably take 60 to 90 days.
What we can
Is
look
there
at.
any way to
Yeah,
move
what
that
we'll
up?
look at doing there is as we submit it, we'll know the condition of the plans are in by that point, and they should be in really good condition. And so based on that, we can, decide to take a risk and get our acquisition agent started with appraisals, which can help buy us some time. So we typically will try to overlap those. We're doing it at our risk, but it's a risk worth taking, and we look at those plans every day, and if we're confident with it, we'll proceed
All right,
with it.
let us know about that. All right. The other one, Columbia Avenue widening improvements, any questions? Intersection at Mallory and Liberty, we talked about that the other night. Any other questions? Stormwater, you want to bring us up to date on stormwater? Jordan Branch,
Jordan Branch is out the bid right now. We're hoping to get bids on it. We're just gonna wait and see
this
how
is
that
the
is.
East Cool Springs.
Yeah, I
just to
was
be-
trying to phase it in 2 projects versus a tree removal project. We're still struggling at getting bidders that are willing to take this on.
For the trees?
For the
Yes.
trees,
Oh, my
yes.
goodness.
Um,
Margaret, get your
And we have
bulldozer.
reached out to a lot of different contractors to do
I'm
it.
serious.
On the Carton Lane culvert replacement, the project looks great, it's done. They're putting the final topping down now, as I understand it.
Correct.
And that'll be coming off of our list here shortly.
Okay, anything on the southeast multiple municipal complex? Nothing? Okay.
If I may, Alderman
Yes.
Burr,
Yes, Mr. Hilty?
we spoke about 2 items that are related to the southeast complex this evening. We're going to be bringing a third design package to you all in April. So you'll see that in about a month from now.
Third design for what?
The park facilities and amenities and roadway through the park and park facilities. So you'll see that, I think probably the CIC meeting or the second work session in April.
All right, water and sanitary sewer. If we want to go to item 10, water and sanitary sewer project status.
So I'll start with the water reclamation facility. So the entrance off of Matt Catcher is complete, so it's being utilized. And there's demolition happening right now in some of the older part of the plant, so it's pretty exciting. Is there any other specific projects you want to talk about?
Spencer Creek Basin,
So
Bobby Drive, Old Carter's Creek Pike, anybody? Holiday Court, pump station project, what's going on there?
So Holiday Court is
Is,
off of Royal Oaks.
Yeah.
As you turn north onto Royal Oaks, it's that first road off to the right. We have a pump station that's back, kind of as you get all the way farther back there. It's on the left-hand side behind those properties. We're completely renewing the station, so replacing it. It's an older can type station, meaning the guys have to go into the ground, into this little can to maintain it. So we're going to make it one of our typical submersible stations. It's a little bit more safe for us to handle. We're going to upgrade the pumps, make them a little bit more reliable.
All right. Go ahead. Margaret
I
Martin,
want to talk about H just a minute.
go ahead. That's Church Street Water and Sewer Improvements. Go ahead.
Excuse me. Mark, is this what we've been talking about? Is this part of what all that line up there, does it go down to Church Street?
These
Evans?
are water and sewer improvements along Church Street from 3rd Avenue.
From 3rd all the way
the way
down.
down.
So this
to
is not stormwater?
No, ma'am.
Forgive me, I'm sorry.
Okay. Sorry, I was
To
trying to.
me, water's water and sewer's sewer. And so
understand.
whatever comes in that is included.
Yes, ma'am.
The improvements you're referring to would be necessary on South Margin Street. That would require a fairly large storm drainage system to accommodate that drainage. So that's one of your capital improvement projects that's listed.
All right, any other questions on this? All right, looks like that's the end of the business. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So
From Alderman
moved.
Clement. Second, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right, thank you. All right.